All right, guys. Hey there. Welcome to another edition of Chalkin' with Baby Cakes, pre-recorded. Okay, so you saw me do a post out several weeks ago about which one should I make, A, B, C, or D, and that was on a huge repurposed picture frame with a wreath on it. And I ended up doing the There's No Place Like Home on it, even though this guy won out. He was the most voted on one. However, somebody did say something along the lines of if they didn't think it would look right with that wreath. And I kind of agreed. So I am going to do it now, though, on this black board, this black surface. It's just a black piece of wood that I painted black. We're going to go ahead and get to it. Today, I am not going to do anything wild and crazy with it, like use chalk paint versus chalk paste. I'm going to just use my normal old chalk paste and get all this done. So I'm hoping, because it's going to be March by the time this airs, I'm hoping that the weather is starting to get a little bit better, because right now it's not March and it's cold out. It's flipping cold, and I don't like it. So what we're going to do here, and I'm going to do something, so as you can tell, it doesn't quite fit, right? So the E and the bumblebee is off of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the flower portion of it, and then once I'm done with the flower, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to take off the stencil. I'm going to dry the flower with my heat gun, which I have down here. My heat gun, my handy dandy heat gun. I need to have like a little holster or something so I can put it in there. Like a little, maybe I can put it in my pocket. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I'm just going to have to drop down to get it because I have no place to put it. All right, so let me get this on here all nice and flat so I don't have any runs. So I'm going to dry the stencil, or dry the stencil. You don't want to dry the stencil with a heat gun. It will ruin it. So I'm going to dry the chalk paste once I'm done with this one. I'm going to dry the chalk paste, and then I'm going to reapply the stencil with the wording over just a little bit, and that will make it to where it's supposed to be. And I'm going to do some colors. I'm going to do some mixing here, but not like you would think. I'm going to get my finger painting on. All right. So I'm going to start with the green because I'm going to do the green and then I'm going to peel up. So I'm going to do the paste and peel method. For those of you who are my regulars, hands up if you're my regular. You've seen me do the paste and peel method several times. It's where I paste the whole area, or I paste one of the areas, and then I peel it up and I put a little stir stick underneath it. So this way it doesn't flop all the way back down onto the paste. Because you don't want, especially if you're doing a larger area, and you're doing different colors, you don't want the paste to dry on the silkscreen portion of it, because if it does that, then the paste will go ahead and lift up with the stencil, and then you'll not have paste in that area. All right, I have this one little area right in here, which is going to be interesting once that's green. That's going to be fun to do. All right. So there we go. So then I'm just going to use my fingers and get that back down there. And I'm going to use, I didn't realize how, this is a little dry. So I just get some water. If your chalk paste is a little dry, you just spritz some water in there and you stir it up. Now you want to use distilled water, because if you use any other kind of water, you potentially could make your paste moldy. And I have had to throw away several jars of paste because they did get moldy. I still use regular water. I think there was some other issues other than just using regular water. So as you see, I just slapped it right on there. I wasn't intentional about it. I just slapped a bunch of it on there, and then you just squeegee it around. And my sleeves are very floppy, which I didn't realize when I put this on. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful with my sleeves because I don't want my sleeves to get into the paste. And I got all that. So there was a little portion of the stem down there that I was trying to be very careful with to keep the stem there, as well as keeping the yellow sunflower portion yellow. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I'm going to use my fingers, I'm going to finger paint. It's just copper, and I'm going to kind of go in the middle here and give it a little coppery, try to make it a little bit darker in here. Just give it a little bit of a different look. Painting happy little sunflowers. All right. Now I'm not going to squeegee that off and put it back into the jar because, well, obviously it's a mixture of two colors. And that looks kind of cute actually. Oh, and look, I got I got part of the S on there. That's not good. But that's okay because I can wash it off just like that. Dry that up pretty good. Now I am going to put this, and I'm going to wash it over here in my water bath and let it dry while I'm drying the surface, because I don't want to get the chalk paste dried in the silkscreen portion of it, because if it does dry, there's a potential of not being able to wash it out. And we want to definitely be able to wash it out so we can reuse this, because the whole purpose of having these stencils is they are reusable stencils. So this way you can use them over and over and over again to create many, many different designs. So I'm just going to stick this here, and I'm going to have to dry it a little bit too, because you don't want to leave water standing on the silkscreen portion of this, or on the sticky portion of it. If you let the water sit there on there, the sticky portion of it will go away. It won't be as sticky anymore. You can still use it. You really can. I've got lots of way loved stencils that I have used over and over again, that are not as sticky as they once were. But I can still use them. You just have to be a little bit more careful with them. So, plus, since I'm going to stick this down again, you want it to be drier, because you don't want the chance of it messing up your design here. Alright, so I'm going to show you what this looks like so far. Isn't that pretty? Alright, now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to get my heat gun. I'm going to do it on low. And you definitely, like I said, you don't want to do this to your stencil because it will shrink the stencil. It'll make the silkscreen portion of it all shrivel up, and then you won't be able to use it. So don't do it. If you're in a hurry and you need to reuse the stencil again, there's nothing, I mean, you can try to use like a hairdryer to dry it up a little bit, but I wouldn't do it. You run the risk of ruining your stencil, and you really don't want to do that. Let's see how close we are to this getting dry, because the middle of it's going to was a little bit thicker because I did the little finger painting on it, right? So I just want this to be really good and dry for when I put the other stuff over it. Okay. Do you see? I'm running my hands over it. It's nice and good and dry. Okay. So I'm going to dry the front part of this off. I had the back of it pretty well dry, so now I'm going to dry the front part up pretty good. And I'm going to use a couple different colors on the words, and then of course we have the little bumblebee. What did I do with my other bumblebees? Oh, Nope. Oh, there they are. Okay. I have a couple other bumblebees too that I'm going to, depending on how this all fits on here, I'm going to use on it. So this is what you want to do if you are doing, if you're going to use and reuse stencils right away. That should be pretty good. Now I'm just going to take and get this centered so the E is kind of right there at the edge. And if you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that I do not measure anything. I just do everything. There we go. I just do everything by sight. I just kind of wing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be perfect for you. And so I like to make it unique. As you see, there was still a little bit of paste on there. So I'm just going to wipe this up here. You can tell there was still a little damp up there. But we can still work with it. There we go. So I am using a couple different colors. So because I'm using the different colors, I'm going to do the paste and peel method yet again. So I'm just going to use white as one of the colors. And then, let's see, I think I'm going to use this canary for the sunshine. And then for the bumblebees, I'm going to use the marigold for the bumblebees again. But I'm also going to use a little bit of this gold shimmer with that. So it can be gold shimmery and marigold. So nice bright colors. Oh, I guess I could move that out of the way. You kind of want to see what I'm doing, don't you? That's the whole reason why you watch me. All right. And of course, you always take any excess leftover paste and you put it right back in your jar because a little paste goes a long, long way. There you go. There's the first portion of it. And I put that right back in there. Push that down a little bit and let me get out this canary yellow for my sunshine. And it's a little bit dry, but I'm not gonna worry about putting some water in it because it's enough for me to do it. And it's just gonna take me a few seconds to finish this portion of it up, and then I'll be able to peel it so it won't dry on there too fast. Because that's one of the big reasons why you want to make sure your paste is a nice yogurt-like consistency, is so this way it doesn't dry too fast when you're doing your stencil, as well as doesn't dry too fast. There's another reason that I just thought of, and no kidding, the words are not speaking. That looks cute. I love it. That guy there, for Melinda. There we go. I'm going to use the white on Be The. And I think I'm going to do this again. Oh, we're going to make this really pretty. We're going to use this guy. Then we're going to go over the sunshine with the gold glitter, the gold shimmer. Just to give it a little bit of a difference from the first sunshine. Oh, that looks cute. I like that a lot. All right. And now we're going to do the bumblebee, the big one. We're going to do this in the marigold. There it is. So remember, you do want to work quickly with your paste because you do not want it to dry. If it does dry on there, when you're pulling the stencil up, it will pull the paste up with the stencil, and then you won't have your design on there as much as you do when the paste is still wet. So that's a big deal. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh, I like it. I'm going to throw this in the water bath and let it sit there for a second or two. Get my finger painting done. Like that. And there you go. Voila. I don't think it really needs any other little bumblebees on it. I think that is perfect. So, even though I asked you guys to make a choice, and you guys made your choice, and I didn't do it, I apologize for that. But I think this one turned out much better, and I like it a lot better than I think I would have liked it with the wreath. So let me know what you guys think of this. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a faithful follower, and I hope everything's going great for you. And if you ever have any questions for me, let me know. All right, I will chalk with you later. And here I come around to stop it. Bye, guys.